One of the things about Dell and Judy is they were just like my mom. Just as, you know, you argue with them, you shoot down their point, they change the subject, tack you some other way because they can't, I don't know, they just, they're attack. They're like put you down to make themselves feel better, look better. Dell told the story of the neighbor. I think she's a fucking squatter too, man. Her truck was overheating. The little Nissan Toyota pickup truck was overheating, and she's like, okay, she went and bought like $160, a water pump, hoses and all this stuff, and for it. And they get up there, and Dell looks at it, and the stopcock valve was open, had been knocked open, and he's just like, what a fucking idiot she was, blah blah blah. And it was like really funny, man. Just this guy. I'm like looking at her, going, man, look at him, going, that sounds just like how my mom talked about people. I used to bring up people with my mom just to hear what the bad shit she was going to say about them. I mean, because she would just say the worst thing she could fucking think about them. And Dell and Judy sitting in my living room was like my mom sitting in my living room, and I knew how to handle them. And I just, they're used to people crumbling in front of them the way that they treat people, and I stood up to it. I didn't crumble. I was like, who the fuck are you? Anyway. That was kind of funny, man. When I realized that I told Madeline, I said, man, that's my mom sitting there. I mean, shit, as fucked up as she was. These people are, my mom never committed murder, but these people did. So we're living there, on a daily basis, any way they can make my life miserable. I wish I would have documented it back then, but, even at the time I'm going, John, you should document this, but it would have taken away from me taking care of Madeline. I didn't care about anything else. All I wanted to do was take care of Madeline. That's where I put all my energy. That would have taken energy from taking care of Madeline, and I wasn't gonna. We're there, I don't know, 3-4 months. Anytime I left, I was driving away from Madeline, and I was coming back to Madeline. I was going as fast as I fucking could on those dirt roads, and it pissed them off. It pissed Dell off royally. So he puts a bump down at the gate and 3 dips coming up to the house. And I just thought, you motherfucker, fuck you. And I just would go through them as fast as I could. I'd go get in front of them and just spin out and throw dirt in them, just like, fuck you, man. And so this motherfucker, I wish I would have documented it, because every time these people fucked with me, it blew up in their face. Time after time after time after time. I kid you not. It was like I had planned all this stuff, and I didn't. All I did was I took care of Madeline, talked to God, tried to take care of myself, and he puts this dip in the road that was an axle braking. On the third one closest to the house, it's an axle braking one. I mean, you hit this at 10 miles an hour, you're snapping your axle. It is just like, and he does that, and the next day, we get like 10 inches of snow, and I don't go anywhere for 9 days. And I watch this dumb fuck, man. He's driving this every single day. I'd go stand out there and go, cluck, 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 cluck. And that was funny. I loved it, man. You dumb shit. He is. It's like, Dr. Zeus. You got Dumbass 1 and Dumbass 2. Dell and Rusty. And then you got C-Face. I won't say the word here because I know some lady's going to be watching this, and I won't say that in front of ladies. But I called her C-Face. It's funny when living there, and Dell tried to, he comes in and he calls me a California boy, like I'm some California pussy boy or California faggot boy, or, and I just like, go talk to my friend Charlie. He was, raised there. He's from there. He is a California boy, and it's so, I just like blew him off. But my nickname for Dell became POS boy, and he said that, man, like California boy, like it was a fucking insult. And I'm going, dude, I grew up in Connecticut. Fuck you, the fuck, you underestimate me some more. That dip, that was, I'm like, that was kind of like a daily basis, man. We had a dumpster that we were paying for, and he took it away from us. I don't get that logic, man. We're paying for it, and he's fucking taking it away. Judy was doing our laundry. That was Madeline's deal. And I couldn't handle that. I was, fuck you, you're not doing this. I didn't want Judy touching anything of mine. So, they made my life hell. They put me through hell. Dell threatened me by Christmas of 2019. Dell had threatened me 12 times, and I kept taking it. I kept, that motherfucker come over, and he'd come to the back door, and it was in my mind, like, whatever I had in my hand, I was going to kill that motherfucker. I also had a dream or a fantasy about, he'd built the back deck, and he'd done a shitty job, but, it was a waist-high railing, and maybe 10, 15, no, probably about 12 feet out the back door. And then there's maybe 10 feet of grass, and then forest, and then it drops down into a ravine, probably 75, 100 yards, goes down, I was going to take that motherfucker, and I was going to go at him as fast as I fucking could, take him through that railing, land on his chest, drag his ass 75 yards down that ravine, and go, let's see who fucking walks out. Man, that guy kept threatening me, kept fucking with me, and I kept taking it. I kept putting up with it. I kept turning the cheek. I kept, I am a Christian man. God bless them. May they be happy and healthy and prosperous. They in the time that I lived there, I don't believe they made an attempt on Madeline's life, but, they were planning my demise, my death, from the moment I met Madeline and they met me, and they met me. I mean, they realized that there's this John Gale and somebody important in Madeline's life. All right, so, I'll get back to, let me see, Madeline being in the hospital. Okay, so Amy Amayo denied her medicine. She was taking a kidney medicine. And, that's one of the things that shut down. So good going, Amy. Yeah, way to take your, petty shit on me out on Madeline. You stupid. You deserve to burn in hell for all eternity for that, in my mind. You did that on purpose. So when I first met Madeline, one of the very, I think I was in there Monday. That Tuesday, no, maybe it was after she saved my life and brought me back. She was going into OMC to get Olympic Medical to get a biopsy off her hip done, because her blood work, her white blood cell count was way up, and they, the doctor, she was seeing a cancer doctor, and he thought maybe she had cancer, and so they're going to do this biopsy. So I went to OMC where, she told me what time the appointment was, and I'm waiting for her, and she shows up with her caregiver, and it was funny because, I'd been around Madeline, and I would offer her my arm at a moment's notice, just, hey, if you need it, it's there. If not, just keep going, And so she's kind of making her way with her walker, and she had an old lady act, and it was all an act. It was that, she's going in, and I walk up behind her and beside her, and I put my arm out, and I say, perhaps I could be of some assistance. And she almost let go of her walker and took my arm, and, and then she went in, and I knew going into that I could help Madeline by taking her mind off it. I mean, we've been talking on the phone. She was scared about this. Sometimes it's really, really painful when they do a biopsy out of your hip, and she didn't know. And so I just went in there, and I was me, and just, would crack her up and just talking to her and keeping her mind off it. And actually, when they did the procedure, I left the room, and the caregiver came and got me a couple of minutes later, and I could have stayed. I mean, they would have been okay, because I would have turned my back and not seen anything, and, given her the dignity that all people deserve, that I give people. And so that was one of those things that, she came out of it. It didn't hurt that bad, but she was so appreciative of me showing up and just walking her through that. That was one of those moments that I knew I could help somebody else. Wasn't going there to get anything for myself out of it. That was kind of cool. I could help Madeline. I have a calling for caregiving. Not necessarily a passion, but I had a passion for Madeline.